So what are data types? Well, Java is a strongly typed language. This means that all data must have its data type defined when being allocated into memory. And basic data types are core data types derived from the language C, of which Java was built on. Let's start with an integer. An integer has a minimum value of less than 2 billion and a maximum value of more than 2 billion. An integer must always be a whole number. In this example, int x equals 10. 10 is a whole number, not a fraction. Double. A double clears the vast range, both positive and negative. A double's primary use is when we need to assign a variable to a fractional number. In this example, double, my double equals 4.923. We are setting my double to a fraction. In other words, it cannot be used with an integer as that is a whole number. Next, we have Boolean. A Boolean is a value which is set to either true or false. For example, Boolean A equals true. Booleans can also be set with binary values, 1 or 0. For example, Boolean B equals 0. In this case, 0 holds the binary value of false. Operators. Operators are special characters within Java that perform operations on arguments to return a specific result. Arithmetic operators. Arithmetic operators perform the same operations you would use within math, percentage sign being the exception, as that would provide the return, not divide. Relational operators. Relational operators test or define some kind of relation between two entities. These include numerical equality and inequality. Conditional operators. Conditional operators perform conditional and conditional or on two Boolean expressions. Let's take a look at an example of arithmetic and assignment operators. Int x equals 1, int y equals 2. Now we could do x equals y, and that would be the same as setting x equal to 2, as that is an assignment operator. Now let's have a variable called int a, and let's set that equal to x plus y. Well, that is the same as saying a equals 2 plus 2, as those are the values of those variables. Before we take a look at the other types of operators, let's take a look at if statements. An if statement obviously begins with the word if. Immediately following is a conditional statement that returns a Boolean that is wrapped in parentheses. After those parentheses, you'll find an expression wrapped between two curly braces. Now, to continue an if statement, immediately following the closing curly brackets of your expression, you'll use the statement else if, followed by another condition within parentheses and another expression within curly brackets. And finally, you'll use the statement else to define your default expression in the event that all those conditions return false. Now, let's take a look at if statements within relational operators. Here, let's define the variable int x equals 10. Then let's say if x is greater than 11, let's log x is greater than 11. Else if x is less than or equal to 5, let's log x is less than or equal to 5. Else, we'll log x is between 5 and 11. Now in this particular if statement, that is what is going to be logged, as x is not greater than 11 and it is not less than or equal to 5. X is between 5 and 11. Let's take a look at if statements with conditional operators. Again, let's define int x equals 10. And let's say if x is less than 11, ampersand x is greater than 5, let's log both conditions are true. Else if x is greater than 11, pipeline character, x is less than 5, let's log at least one condition is true. Else, let's log neither if statement is true. Now, in this particular example, we will be logging both conditions are true, as x again is less than 11 and x is greater than 5. As you can see, double ampersands means that both conditions must be met in order for that if statement to return true. Else if with the double pipeline characters means that either condition can be true in order for that expression to be run. Let's get to our code and write a few of our own examples.